tenemos the YouTube channel is there, just come here.
You're live, by the way. Just let you know.
Hola, en TikTok.
Yes. I know. But the problem I'm going to run into is
Just the name of the YouTube channel.
yeah, maybe. I know. I'm trying to figure out why it won't let me. There we go. It's changed. Can you hit Control and V?
V.
Victor. Yeah, there you go. And then oh, we got 3 people in.
Hola, hola, chicos. ¿Cómo están?
I'm just.
Estamos tratando de iniciar el en vivo en TikTok también. Is somebody in the other side of the camera or just in the chat?
No, there's 5 people.
Okay. What can I see there?
Okay. No one said anything yet.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that was probably really loud.
Yeah.
All right. Answer questions on YouTube, and there's a link right there.
Use the link.
Yeah, it's right there.
Yeah, but don't write anything else. Just do Xochitl make it neat or use the link or I don't know which link.
I'm putting that so people understand that you're not looking at this chat. It's just live. Apparently that needs to be reviewed.
You have to choose some.
Oh, there's some hands.
Hola. Bien, ¿cómo estás? Estamos tratando de iniciar el en vivo en TikTok también para decir a la gente que se venga a YouTube.
That was annoying me.
Hola, buenas tardes, saludos de Minnesota. Hola, hola, nena, ¿cómo estás?
Go Vikings. Oh, hey. I just saw that's the person who ordered the shirt. That was the first one. You ordered our first shirt.
Thank you. Thank you for the support. ¿Cómo están? Hoy vamos a estar conectados en TikTok. Ya estamos.
YouTube.
No he comido, chicos, perdón. Me agarró mi marido comiendo galletas. Hoy vamos a estar conectados en YouTube. Si todavía no se suscriben a mi canal de YouTube, vayan a suscribirse. Aquí abajo del canal de TikTok, aquí tengo el link para que lo copien y se vayan. Allá vamos a estar contestando las preguntas. No vamos a estar contestando preguntas en TikTok, vamos a estarlas contestando en YouTube, ¿ok? Acá vamos a estar conectados el día de hoy. ¿Cómo estás, Elena? ¿Cuánto? ¿Hay gente en TikTok? Es la primera vez que nos estamos conectando en YouTube, ¿ok, chicos? Hay un montón de fallas. Tenemos abierto el live Tenemos abierto el live en TikTok y en YouTube. Mi esposo está aquí.
Sí. Oh, I'm not supposed to look at that one.
Why you not tapping?
Because most of them don't understand me usually. I get yelled at every time I speak English.
Hola, hola, Mapi, ¿cómo estás? Estamos conectados en YouTube también, chicos, ¿ok? Le vamos a dar 2 o 3 minutitos para que nos vayan a seguir a YouTube. Ahí vamos a estar contestando las preguntas el día de ahora. Yeah. Acá vamos a estar es prueba el día de ahora, ¿ok? Nos estamos acostumbrando porque vamos a hacer el cambio a YouTube.
So I don't know how many people can understand me. You might have to translate. What we're trying to do is we're trying to find out which one's better for streaming. If we're streaming on Twitch, streaming on YouTube, streaming on TikTok, which one's going to be the best for being able to provide you better content, being able to, put up like, whiteboards and stuff like that. We do have multiple cameras in the room, and so we're trying out a couple different things. So right now, for those of y'all, wave up here to y'all right there. Point, there you go. This is the camera for TikTok right here. Right now, we're not looking at the TikTok chat. We're looking at the YouTube chat, but we're basically just trying to figure out what's the best way to be able to bring you guys better information and deliver it better. So we're trying something new today and paying attention to YouTube. I agree. I think YouTube is better. There's a lot more I can do with some of my software. There's a lot of programming stuff I can do with YouTube, which I like, which I'm kind of limited on.
Y recuerden que en TikTok pues nos reportan mucho, ¿verdad, chicos? Entonces hay cosas que podemos decir, cosas que no podemos decir, y en YouTube sí. Entonces queremos seguir dando información abierta, información buena para todos ustedes, pero tenemos que buscar la manera de hacerlo, ¿ok? Porque yo ya estoy cansada de tanto chisme y tanto alboroto ahí en TikTok. So, si vamos a hacer las cosas serias, vamos a hacerlas en un canal donde podamos exponer lo bueno y lo malo, ¿ok? De todo. Entonces, chicos, vayan y síganme a mi canal de YouTube, no sean malitos, y ayúdenme a compartir el live acá en TikTok también para que me vayan a seguir a mi canal de YouTube, ¿ok? Vayan y suscríbanse. Ahí pueden ir a mi bio, ahí donde está mi foto y todo, y ahí va a decir la opción de Instagram o de YouTube, ahí está directamente, y si no, se llama Xochitl Make It Neat, ¿ok? Vayan y suscríbanse, chicos.
Jen, I agree with you completely. Like I said, we wanted to test it out because with Twitch, there's a few more options we have, and that's why I had mentioned that. But yeah, no, I know that for our audience and for you guys and the entire community, the likelihood of Twitch being a good option is not very high, but I don't want to eliminate that option. I see that. Yeah, we were in the middle of setting up, so I do apologize. I actually get out of my other job at 5 o'clock, so I left a little bit early.
Yeah.
But when my beautiful wife here comes up with ideas, she doesn't actually set any of it up, so I had to come home and get all of it set up and get all the computer stuff done. So it took me a minute, but yeah. we're live now. We're on YouTube and TikTok. I'm going to try to kind of watch the comments on this side on TikTok, but we're kind of focusing on the YouTube side right now, so.
Y sí, Michelle, mi esposa me apoya muchísimo en todas las locuras y las cosas fuera del lugar que se me antoja hacer. Yo puedo llegar un día a esta casa con una ballena en la mano y este hombre va a decir, bueno, es un poquito inconveniente y va a empezar a construir un acuario. Así es. Por eso es que yo estoy medio zafada también. Porque todo me apoya. Ay, anyways, so vamos a estar conectados el día de hoy en YouTube, ¿ok, chicos? Vayan y síganos allá sí podemos hablar mejor. Es el primer día que estamos haciendo prueba, ¿ok? De estar conectados en las dos redes sociales. Voy a tratar de leer los poquitos, pero vamos a estar más conectados en YouTube, por favor, síganos. En unos 3 o 4 minutos empezamos a contestar preguntas en YouTube, ¿ok? Todas las que tengan. Mi esposo aquí está, él habla inglés mucho mejor, yo lo entiendo. Si no, puedes escribirla en español y con gusto yo le traduzco a él en inglés, ¿ok? Pero no se detengan que porque él no habla inglés o no se vayan que porque no le entienden, no se preocupen. Yo les traduzco para que ustedes también entiendan, ¿ok? 2, 3 minutitos más y nos vamos para YouTube, chicos, a contestar preguntas.
What?
The YouTube?
What about YouTube?
I don't know what's...
They're much clearer. There's a lot more I can do, but I can do a lot more on YouTube. But...
No es algo como que lo vamos a hacer en un solo ratito, ¿verdad? Porque mucha gente, miren, ya empezó a fallar el internet en TikTok. Ya empezó a fallar el internet en TikTok.
Only TikTok. That's what I was trying to tell you before when we kept having those issues. It's TikTok. It's the streaming app and stuff.
¿Ven, chicos?
Because we don't have problems on your phone.
No. ¿Ya vieron? Ya se empezó a trabar en TikTok y YouTube no tienes, aquí hay muchas cosas que no se pueden decir y te empiezan a reportar. Tal vez sí va a ser un poquito complicado traerme a los seguidores de TikTok para acá, para esta plataforma que es un poquito más libre, pero a quien le interese, chicos, aquí vamos a estar, ¿ok? Así seamos 10 los que estemos aprendiendo diariamente acá, 10 son los que vamos a estar conectados y son, para mí estoy feliz con que una persona salga aprendiendo al día, yo feliz, ¿ok? Voy a empezar a contestar preguntas.
Every now and then. Just put the link in there.
Chicos, preguntas las vamos a responder en YouTube, ¿ok? Las vamos a responder en YouTube. Vénganse para YouTube. Sorry.
No, that's all I was going to say. Like the last thing, Lisa got me, is it Vine or Vine? Listo got me Vine?
Oh, yeah, I did come. I did come, okay.
Ah, no. Is the word Vine or Vine?
Yeah, no, okay. Ya me vine. El audio está fallando. Oh, she said the audio.
Oh.
Se escucha eco, a ver. Ok, chicos. Ya lo estamos acomodando, ¿ok? Ya lo estamos acomodando.
Let's see.
Acuérdense, es la primera vez que nos conectamos, ¿ok? Va a haber fallas, por eso mismo les estamos pidiendo que no se desesperen, ¿ok?
Let us know when you can hear us.
Déjenos saber cuando nos escuchen, ¿ok, chicos?
Sí, no entiendo nada.
Que no se entiende, ok. Relax.
Oh, you know what it is? It's probably because of the confusion between the two. What I'm going to do, I don't know if I can do this while. We'll find out right now. Yep. We're going to switch this microphone. We're going to go with this one. Hopefully that breaks up the information. Okay, that worked. Okay, trying to prevent feedback. Those who are watching us on YouTube, can you hear us?
A ver, chicos, los que están en YouTube, ¿nos pueden escuchar?
Okay, there you go.
En TikTok se está trabando mucho, sí, se está trabando demasiado, es por los reportes, chicos, ya les habíamos dicho, y por esa misma razón ya me quiero ir de ahí. Ya pueden escuchar ahora sí perfecto.
I think it's funny though. Yes, we can hear you. Yes. Can't hear. Yes. I think we might be delayed a little bit.
Sí se escucha bien en YouTube, perfecto. Pon el link de YouTube en el chat de TikTok.
Oh, yeah.
The link there again.
Control V.
Yeah. Hola,
Control
chicos.
There's one on the other side too.
Chicos, vénganse para YouTube. Vamos a estar conectados y contestando preguntas en YouTube, ¿ok? Perfecto.
Yeah, this would get really confusing. I could see doing it, but it'd be really confusing going back and forth between the chats and stuff.
No, pero aparte de listening already.
Yeah.
Ok, chicos, perfecto. No se me desesperen, no se vayan. Acuérdense, estamos empezando, ¿ok? Saludos, soy Almendra. Hola, Almendra, ¿cómo estás, mija? My friend Almendra from Cancun.
Ah.
The one working with the
bugs.
With the bugs.
She talks about you a lot.
You're gonna go there. You're gonna meet her.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
¿Cómo están?
While I'm not planning on staying for too long, I just want to make sure that everything's working right for her and stuff. But if there's any questions on like the business related side of stuff, let me know so I can try to address as many of those questions as I can right now. And that way, when I cut out, you'll go back to your not having to listen to me.
What? No, I'm listening, but I don't know you did listen.
No, I'm saying, but a lot of, like I said, most of those who can't understand me, they're listening to nothing right now. So I'm here to answer.
Ok, chicos, so, dice, debe de ser difícil estar en polémica, solamente si le pones atención, solamente si esa persona es importante. Si no es importante, deja que hagan su polémica y tú diviértete cuando esté todo volando, no te preocupes. Yo estoy bien. Aquí venimos a aprender, ¿ok? Y vengo hasta aprender cómo se usa YouTube, chicos, para seguirles aprendiendo, para seguirles enseñando, para que sigamos aprendiendo juntos. A eso me estoy enfrentando ahora. Estas cosas son las que me gustan, fíjense, aprender cosas nuevas, no nomás de polémica. Cuando se traten de videos cortos, déjenlos, hombre. Cuando se traten de lives, ya les dije, venimos a aprender, ¿ok? A ver, si se escucha perfecto. They have a question for your shirt.
Not for my shirt, but no, I saw that.
Oh,
I was waiting for the response.
Yeah.
That's a question for you, not for me.
What?
¿Cómo le?
Oh, no, yeah, I already answered that.
It just popped up.
¿Cómo debo cobrar una construcción de puros storage? Si es una limpieza regular que vas a hacer, si no tiene baños, pues cóbrala en el 1%, pero siempre que tiene baños o que tiene muebles, los muebles básicos adentro de la casa, que es la cocina, los closets, si vas a trapear los pisos, si ventiladores, ese tipo de cosas. So, si las tiene, las cobras en el 2%, si no las tiene, pues las cobras en una limpieza básica, en el 1%. Les platico algo, a ver, dime, Almendra.
Anya, insurance I'll get to. What do you mean by proposals? And while you're typing that, I'll answer the other part. With regards to insurance, there's a lot of ways you can go. You can get insurance through major carriers. I would say start with whoever you insure your car through, and if you have a good relationship with them, and they can redirect you to where you need to go. So if you're looking for business insurance, or if you're looking for like corporate auto insurance, they'll kind of send you the right way. I could just kind of give you, an example for myself. I use a company called AP Indigo, or AM Trust, whatever you want to call them. They have a couple different names. They cover like our workers' comp insurance and like employment insurance and all that stuff. For business insurance, I use the Hartford. Basically, they're just a huge insurance company that's actually pretty easy to work with. And then auto insurance, my policy is with Berkshire Hathaway. So that's what we have to insure all of our vehicles and have a company policy. If you're, working by yourself or just, teams of 1 and 2, you don't really need the corporate insurance for the auto. But like for us with vehicles out on the road, I need them to be insured by any of my employees. So that's why I've got auto insurance specifically for the business.
They're asking for the yoga.
I'm trying to go back up to the questions.
Vanessa enamorado.
Are you going to upload a video of Jobber again? Videos on TikTok last time was cutting a lot. Yeah, I can do that. Guys, I hope you understand, like when it comes to a lot of the stuff when I'm contributing, I do work about 60 to 80 hours a week at my normal job. And I also do all the stuff for our business. So she tries to make me, I promise you, she tries to make me. But it's difficult for me to find the time to really sit down and get a lot of videos put out. So I try to do it on my day off. I'll try to put a couple videos together and then I can release them throughout the week for you. And like I said, if there's any topics that you want me to cover, go to the channel. We Make It Neat is the one that I monitor closely. But just leave a comment on one of the videos if there's stuff that you want me to cover or go over, whether it be specifics or just generally like, Jobber in general. Let me know because that'll give me ideas for videos to put together for you.
Actually, guys, if you want, he can make another live and explain again and explain it in YouTube because, like I say, TikTok is a lot of issues. So it's actually better. I mean, are you taking off on Thursday?
I might work because it's the last day of the month and I want to hit bonus and stuff. I might work, but we'll see.
Maybe Sunday?
Yeah. No, maybe Thursday, but Sunday, yeah.
Yeah, I mean.
Proposals, I got you. So for proposals, we actually use Jobber. So I put all the proposals together over time, kind of breaking it down for our, move-in cleanings, our move-out cleanings, weekly, biweekly, all the rates, stuff like that. And then I've just basically got it. So all I have to do is click, weekly cleaning. And it just kind of comes down with the entire proposal of what all is included in a weekly cleaning. And then at the same time, I'll use the comments or that area to add in things like our cancellation policy and, all those little, legalities and stuff like that, explaining that, we'll take a deposit up front. And anything that you want to add in, we do all that on Jobber. There are other, ways to do it, but that just happens to be how I have it set up because it's pretty easy.
Yeah. I always tell you guys, we use Jobber for everything. And you just need a phone. That's it.
In regards to the wording, it does take some time. What I would say is actually one of the best things you can do is literally just type in, so if you want to be able to bill a weekly house cleaning, right? Do a Google search for weekly house cleanings. Use everybody else's expertise to your advantage. Find other cleaning companies out there, see how they have listed. Like on our website, I've got a pretty good breakdown of each individual type of cleaning. And honestly, it's almost a cut and paste from there to the proposals that I send. So there's a lot of a wealth of information out there. You just kind of got to, go find it. I mean, I could sit here and, tell you what to write down, but I think it's better if you actually find it, put it in your own words and what makes sense for you.
Navarrete, ¿puedes dar los detalles de qué se considera la limpieza de casas? ¿Qué es el detallado y qué son los extras? Lo pregunto porque hay mucha gente que sin querer pudiéramos estar malbaratando en este rubro. De hecho, fuimos virales para explicar cuáles son las limpiezas profundas, cuáles son las regulares, cuáles son los trabajos extras que se incluye, cómo se cobra en cada ciudad. Ahorita más que nada estamos haciendo pruebas. Tenemos 2 o 3 lives aquí colgados en YouTube de lives anteriores de TikTok y ahí si te vas a la última hora de live, en esa última hora de live, pero regularmente cobramos por pie cuadrado nosotros. Cuando son trabajos muy extremos que no le podemos calcular los pies cuadrados porque nos puede tomar hasta días limpiarlo, ahí lo cambiamos y lo hacemos por hora o por extreme cleaning, depende de cómo esté considerado, pero tenemos que analizarlo, ¿verdad? Todos los trabajos tienen distinto precio.
I'm going to cheat really quick just because I saw a really good question over on TikTok. I think it's Rita. I think that's Rita 200. Understanding, don't charge by hour. I use a salesperson's pitch, right? So for those of you who don't know, I sell cars as well. When people start getting into that, I just have some really quick question. What do you value better, your time or the quality? Because a lot of people want you to be on hourly because if you're really good at what you do, you're really going to get it done pretty quickly too.
Yeah.
And so when people are always like, no, I don't want to pay this flat rate, I want to pay hourly. Well, understand, we're not housekeepers, right? And so we have, a schedule to keep. And if I know how long it's going to take to clean your house and I know what equipment it's going to take, I can price that. And a lot of people want to pay by hour, but the problem is that they want to be cheap about it. And that's the problem. And I've seen a video recently and I saw a girl that she concentrates on hourly, where we obviously do by square foot and flat rate. She concentrates on hourly. And so I was seeing one of her things was don't accept less than $30 an hour. And to a point, I agree with that. I'm going to get there. I'm in the middle.
No, they said they can listen.
Again?
Yeah. A ver, chicos.
There's something about me changing the speakers. Really
¿Listo,
weird.
chicos? ¿Lo pueden escuchar?
Better now?
A ver, díganme.
Anyways, back to that. It should be okay. There we go. So I always just explain to them, I was like, for those people who want to pay hourly, well, we don't work hourly. It's a very simple concept. And it's just like, when you quote a customer and you say, hey, you got a 2,000 square foot house, we're going to charge you $200 for a weekly cleaning, and they don't like the price. It's the same exact concept. I understand that you're used to paying hourly, but we don't charge hourly. Because it might be one person coming to your house, it might be 2, it might be 3, depending on how many jobs we have that day.
Yeah.
Sometimes the house takes us 3 hours. Xochitl will go out on a first job with someone where she's working by herself. The job might take 3 or 4 hours. But the next time, once we actually have it set on a schedule, we're sending 2 or 3 girls out there too. Well, it's no longer a 3-hour job. It's an hour and a half job max. It's why we don't charge hourly. It's about the work, not about the time it takes to get the work done.
Yeah. Don't listen again. They say you can end it. Go back. Go.
Oh, like start and stop it?
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know what's causing that issue. Like
Okay,
everything's set up.
no, they listen. They do
Yeah,
listen.
I know. I can see. I don't know what's going on. We'll figure it out. But this is a trial run. So for those of you who aren't watching on YouTube, sorry, we are testing it out and kind of getting it figured out.
Ok, acuérdense que es la primera vez que nos conectamos y estamos conectados en TikTok y estamos conectados en YouTube, ¿ok? Las preguntas las estamos conectando las estamos contestando en YouTube, ¿ok, chicos? Perfecto. Asegúrense de haber salido de TikTok.
I like that person's
no
comment. Did you see that, Maria Edwards? I can hear you because I'm listening on both.
Yeah. And one more say, like, I'm listening Nico because I'm listening both. Like the delay.
Yeah. But I'm gonna stick around for a couple more minutes. I noticed that those who want to come listen to you, as soon as I'm talking, you watch the viewership just drop.
Pablo, perdón. Hay muchas personas que le tienen miedo a decirle no a las clientes por perder el trabajo. Mira, lo primero que tienes que hacer cuando vas a conseguir un cliente es dejarle bien en claro que conoces lo que estás haciendo. Y para dejarle en claro eso, hazle muchas preguntas. O sea, déjale que yo pago esto, no pago. Nos tiene que quedar bien claro nosotros que nosotros no somos empleados de nadie. Nosotros tenemos una compañía, nosotros dirigimos, nosotros tenemos gastos, nosotros tenemos empleados, por lo tanto nosotros debemos dirigir nuestros precios, no ellos. Ese es el primer gran error, que cuando vamos a agarrar a un cliente creemos que es nuestro patrón, creemos que es el que nos va a dar un cheque. Pero si esa persona no nos va a dar 40 horas de trabajo y beneficios de ley y vacaciones y todo eso, entonces no es nuestro jefe, es nuestro cliente. Le tenemos que cobrar un servicio, no por un trabajo, por un servicio. ¿Okay? Esa es la manera en que te puedo decir, o sea, desde el principio, desde que vas a agarrar a un cliente, tú tienes que ir mentalizado a de que es tu trabajo y si el cliente no puede pagarlo, pues es culpa del cliente, no es culpa tuyo. Tú no tienes por qué bajar tus precios. El cliente tiene que subir sus expectativas porque va a ser imposible que él pueda ir a alguna... Imagínate que yo, siempre les digo, imagínate que yo pudiera ir a Walmart y que yo le dijera a Walmart, oye Walmart, por tu computadora nomás te quiero pagar $200, pero cuesta $2,000, pero nomás te quiero pagar 200. ¿Por qué? Pero si cuesta $2,000, pues es lo mismo del servicio de limpieza. ¿Por qué va a venir alguien de afuera a decirme cuánto vale lo que yo hago? ¿No? Es lo primero que tenemos que estar mentalizados. I say always it's so funny for me because people, they don't know what is work for them. Like they work it. So,
they don't know their value.
So, yeah, so it's so funny. Like if you can compare, like going to Walmart and saying to Walmart, I just want to pay $200 for your TV screen of $800. But why? Give me a fucking reason. Why?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody can come from outside and tell you what to do. So, es el primer paso que tenemos que hacer, chicos. Mentalizarnos de que no somos empleados de nadie y de que nuestros precios están basados en nuestros gastos, los de nuestra compañía, los que yo hago, ¿ok? No en los gastos del cliente, no en las necesidades del cliente, no, están basados en mis gastos, en mis empleados, en lo que yo gasto de gasolina, de limpiadores, de uniformes, todo eso, en eso basamos el precio. No en que el cliente diga que es justo pagar $15 por hora, eso no existe, eso no existe.
Ooh, I just thought about something that's beneficial about doing this way too.
Yeah.
Because whenever you have like your long ones where you're teaching a lot of stuff and everybody asks to see the video, this automatically uploads to YouTube, so you're doing them simultaneously.
Oh.
So once we're done, it automatically posts to the channel.
I can start recording in YouTube when I start teaching all the stuff.
Yeah. And then it saves.
Nice.
Can change passes, but they said it's too much. I'm not sure if I'm quoting right. Expensive cleaning, but everything here is expensive. Yeah, Seattle is expensive. I actually used to live in Fort Lewis. You know, you're going to run into people who say it's expensive, but it really comes down to what your value is and how you value yourself. And there are going to be some markets where you're going to have to adjust. Like the rates that we use have just worked very well for us, and they've worked in many different areas. But at the same time, like Seattle's tough because they now have that minimum $15, up in Washington. Or I don't know if it's in Seattle or Washington, but they have the $15 minimum wage that just jumped up recently. It's going to throw a lot of people off for a while. But no, I agree with you. Seattle is expensive.
Marina Gaetan, she's saying like she's having issues with the employees because they're making the job just like that.
Like they're not doing a good job.
They're just making the hours and that's it. So she's saying what's an option to do with them, or talking, or tell them.
Like, do you mean they're like taking longer to get jobs done just to make hours?
No, they're just doing a job, like
half-ass job.
Yeah, like something lazy.
I hate to say it, but that's part of being a business owner. You have to be willing to fire people if they're not going to step up.
Yep.
And one thing, when you first get started, a lot of people don't have like business contracts, stuff like that, and employment contracts. But you're more likely to state that's at will, which means you can hire and fire on a moment's notice, and they can, quit on a moment's notice. But yeah, if they're not doing a good job, tell them to raise their standards. And because in the long run, a lot of us want to be helpful and happy and stuff like that. But at the same time, this is your business. This is your livelihood. This is how you make your money. So if they're going to cost you customers, they're going to cost themselves a job pretty quickly. You can't be afraid to let them know. It's like, hey, if you don't step it up, and it's very simple. If you don't step it up, that's it.
El consejo que mi esposo te está diciendo literalmente es que.
She's actually in English.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So what can I say? Nothing.
No, and one thing you can do with some of our newer hires and stuff like that, the first thing I have them do is photograph the house in all the major areas when they first get there. Then photograph the house when they're done. Covers you for two reasons, because if there's unexpected things that your client didn't tell you about, it gives you justification to be like, hey, you didn't tell me about X, Y, and Z. But also it lets you see how much the work is being done. And if they have a complaint about something not being done properly, you're the one fielding the complaints from the customer. And so you need to be able to hold them accountable, be like, hey, what happened here? Because if they're not doing the job, I mean, I hate to say it, but sometimes you have to let them go. It sucks. But that is part of, being your own business owner is you've got to make those decisions. If they're going to cost you money.
Marina, if you have to supervise your employees all the time, let me tell you, you are an employee too. That cannot be. You have to trust in your own employees. If you cannot trust on them, then I start firing them like one by one and take out the bad apples.
It really does. It's hard. It's very difficult.
Hard,
like we've had employees that were, they were very easy to fire because of just, irresponsibility and stuff like that. And it's always easy when it's easy. But if it's someone, especially someone close to you, someone who's been working for a while, and you do have this in a lot of jobs, they'll be working for you for a year, for 2 years, and whether they're getting bored with the job or losing motivation, stuff like that, it does happen. And the problem is when you work with them that long, you build a relationship with them.
Yeah.
Not just business, but you have a personal relationship with them. And so you can always kind of pull the guilt trip thing on them too. It's like, listen, you wanted to work for me and you want to do this, but now you're half-assing it. Like, what's going on here? Because in the long run, they're just taking money out of your pocket.
Yeah.
They're losing money for you.
I mean, what can I say? You have to remember something too. A bad employee is also like an epidemic. You have to take it out, or you are going to spread the fucking virus there. So it's hard to say, but that's the way. That's the way it is.
Veronica, when you're just starting off, the first things you're going to want to talk to your CPA about is kind of going over your business plan. I don't know if any of you guys have seen the videos on We Make It Neat, but I'm starting to break those things down. But one of the very first things you want to do when you start up your business is create a business plan. Know where you're at, what you need, and where you're going. And, it can be a very simple thing when you're first starting off. Like my goal is I want to have, 10 clients a week. So I've got 2 clients a day for 5 days, and I want to be making X amount of money. and start setting those things up. Then when you actually go speak with your CPA, you can show them the business plan. Like, hey, here's my goal. Here's what I'm trying to achieve. And your CPA is going to help structure you the way that's most beneficial for you. It's going to structure you not only how to structure the business. Like we always talk about, get your LLC, get yourself covered for purposes. But like a company like ours, we're not an LLC. We're kind of an LLC. We're actually an S corporation. So we're an incorporated company. Reason being, the coverages are different. The way we kind of do our finances are different. And so having the CPA advise you on that, that's where you want to start. Also, a quality CPA. And I need to specify this because people keep changing the words, like when they're asking me questions. A CPA is different than a tax preparer. A tax preparer is someone who can use a computer program to help you do your taxes. A CPA needs to know the laws. They are liable for everything that they do on behalf. And so find yourself a good CPA and they will help you out. They'll help you register your business, license your business, get your EIN, get all those things that you need. They'll help you through the process. Let's see.
Yeah, in TikTok, if you need to fire somebody, that's why you're the boss. Man, it is what it is.
Yeah, Marina, 100%. I mean, everything that we talk about is from experience. Like every mistake and stuff like that. I tend to be a little bit more, what would be a good word? Diligent when it comes to getting everything done exactly right. But that's just my personality. I have a type A personality that everything has to be perfect. So like when we first started working together, but when I first started helping with the business and wanted to set it up, with a proper structure and all that stuff, like I took my time and I did all this research, a couple different books I read, a lot of, Googling and kind of getting the assets, a lot of getting advice from people who are in similar industries and, other service industries. Talking to landscapers is a great way to get information when it comes to service stuff.
Se me hace muy difícil conseguir clientes. Do you have any technique, babe, for finding clients other than internet?
You know what? Getting away from the internet, there's quite a few things you can do. First thing, go to a place like Vistaprint. Make yourself some business cards. And I've noticed and did a little bit of market research when we were testing this out. A lot of people love to have those cute little, dainty, hey, we're a house sleeper, maybe a door hanger, stuff like that. And that is an option. You can always go through neighborhoods and leave door hangers, but make yourself a very professional business card. Then, if you want to get a ton of customers, probably more than you can handle in the very beginning, you go to every single real estate agent within 5 miles of where you live. And you drop off a stack of business cards and you tell them that if they need someone to do a move out or move in cleaning for a sale that they're trying to make, and you do a great job the first time, you will have endless jobs after that. And the best part, as we all know, move-ins and move-outs pay, well, other than post-construction, pay pretty much the best. And so it's a great way to just organically pick people up. But I'm not kidding. You go take 100 business cards and you just walk into a real estate agent's office and say, hey, just want to leave a couple cards here just in case you guys ever need a cleaning service because you can't, one of your current cleaners is unavailable. You've got my information. Within a week, you'll get at least one phone call within a week. I can almost guarantee it because they are always looking, especially if you're in a market like ours where there's so many people moving into Las Vegas right now. So many opportunities for that. The other thing that I advise people to do, especially if you're willing to take on commercial contracts, go to every apartment complex in your area, go to the manager's office and say, hey, how much are you paying your cleaning company to do the lobby areas, this, that, whatever, not the apartments, literally their areas. And a lot of times, if you put a good bid on that side of things, they will then recommend you to their residents when they're moving out. Hey, we've got this great cleaning company. Or they're going to call you because they have a great relationship with you and be like, hey, these people moved out. I need to move out cleaning and go right in. But apartment complex and real estate agents is a great way to start. Doesn't cost you anything more than making, $5 worth of business cards. It's a great way to get started.
Golf courses.
The golf courses are great too. I would say wait because that costs quite a bit. I mean, our advertising fees are not cheap when I do that stuff. But it is another way. Golf courses are great. We'll just say it's a very specific kind of clientele. Golf courses tend to have much higher end clientele. And once people get in their 70s, they don't want to clean their houses anymore. And so it's a lot of opportunity there. Like we do promote at a couple of the local golf courses on their scorecards and on their the course guides and stuff like that. So when they open up, they just see a big old or make a neat logo, and we get phone calls pretty regularly from those too.
Yeah.
Let's see. I missed the Spanish one in there. ¿Cuánto se debe? Right under the hand heart.
¿Cuánto se debe cobrar en los holidays? Oh, she's asking how you have to charge in holidays.
So I'm not the best example of that because I believe in being closed on holidays. Now, she has a work ethic like you guys don't know. And I think it's funny watching all of her videos and watching all the attacks and stuff like that. People have no idea what her work ethic is really like. And if you guys saw, you'd think she's a bit crazy. But she'll work the weekend or she'll work the holidays and stuff like that, especially if it's for a client that we have a really good relationship with. She'll definitely do those. Generally speaking, we're usually at about 150% of average rate. But it also depends on the job, what they're looking for. Sometimes it's just like, hey, can you come in on Christmas morning and do a quick, neat organization, like not a normal cleaning. So it really depends on what the job is. But if someone, like, let's say Christmas is on Friday, their normal cleaning day is on Saturday, and they want you to come in on Friday to get the house clean for like a party or whatever, that's going to change rates. We're pretty close to about 150% normally. In some cases, a little bit more, but generally speaking, I'd say about 150 is pretty average.
Yeah.
I think I need to do is charge more. Some people that I start with, I want the house clean, so I charge wrong. Oh, yeah, and that actually reminds me, I did see a question. It was you, Mariana. Okay. I know it's tough to broach the subject when it comes to raising the rates on your clients. It's tough. I tell people 1 year. 1 year is a great time to sit down, and sometimes it's just a matter of when you go in, just on that cleaning where you're like, hey, we need to start talking about adjusted rates, just breach the subject with them. And sometimes you can be like, hey, in a month, we're going to be adjusting our rates. You've been with us for a year now, and expenses are going up, so we need to adjust our rates. Let them know. A lot of times, especially when you're face-to-face, it's great. When you're face-to-face, they're scared to argue with you. They're scared to debate with you. When you're doing it over text, doing it over email, and doing it over phone calls, it's a little bit different, and they get that keyboard warrior courage, and so they'll be like, kind of upset. But recently, we had a customer who we've had for about 2 years here, and I realized that when we first started working with them, we had offered them a discounted rate for a very specific reason, and I never adjusted the rate after that. So they were paying that discounted rate for 2 years. And all I did was move them back to the normal rate that they would have paid 2 years ago, not even what our current rate was, because it would have been a pretty big jump. And so he came back and tried to negotiate with me and tried to ask for a little bit more on the service. And I was like, cool, it's going to be additional. And he was like, well, you're going to be charging more. I understand that. We are going to be charging more because our rates are higher. And we were at the point where, sometimes you have to be willing to lose a client. I will say Xochitl, she deals a lot more face-to-face with the clients. So there's certain clients that she's willing to be like, whatever. Fine. I tend to be a little bit more on the customer service side. So I tend to kind of do it from that angle. But this particular client, after like the third back and forth with them, I was like, I'm just very blunt. I'm like, listen, I understand. Nothing's changing. The same service can be provided. You're going to get the same cleanings, but here's your new rate. I understand if it's too expensive. I can recommend other cleaners in the area. We've got a whole network of cleaners out here who contact us regularly, and I'm sure we'd gladly take some of these jobs, but we can't do it at that price anymore. And, sometimes they're understanding, sometimes they're not. But, I would say don't worry so much about raising prices unless you have someone to fill that spot too.
Yeah.
That's a key difference too. Sometimes people are just like, I'm undercharging, I want to make a little bit more. That's cool. But if you have openings in your schedule, then don't worry so much about that. Worry about getting your schedule filled first. And I'm not saying it's not important. Don't think I'm saying it's not important, but you've got to kind of weigh what's more important, staying busy and keeping yourself employed, or trying to get a couple more dollars. Sometimes you got to put it on the back burner, whether it be for a month or two or whatever the case may be.
Marina, siempre me hacen esa pregunta y no lo sé. Pero no lo sé porque yo no utilizo cloro. No sé si los uniformes se manchan o no se manchan. Hubo una chica que me dijo que no se manchaban, pero te lo repito, no sé si se manchan. Esos uniformes son Cherokee Infinity. Los puedes conseguir por internet. Pero honestamente no sé, te digo, no utilizo cloro.
But I don't know why you don't mention them. Your Grey's Anatomy ones are way more comfortable and you love those.
Oh, yeah.
The bright colored ones are actually a different company. The super bright ones are a different company. It's actually Grey's Anatomy. They're super comfortable, super lightweight.
Yeah, los otros uniformes son Grey's Anatomy, son como de algodón, pero this one is because the cloth is antibacterial. It's like a hospital.
They're all scrubbed, yeah. So is Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah, but it's like cold. It's really, really different.
They're very thin.
Yeah.
They're definitely a summertime.
Yeah, and the other one is like cotton or something.
Shining Star in pricing for different, like weekly, monthly, bi-weekly. Have you ever seen her go over her formula that she uses for doing, charging by square foot? Because I was like, I can give you the numbers one way or another, but I figure if you've seen it before, I can explain it a little bit easier. If you haven't seen it before, I got to explain it a little bit differently.
Chicos, por aquí en TikTok hubo una señora que me preguntó, y siempre me preguntan, Xochitl, yo tengo muchos años limpiando, pero jamás le puedo avanzar, siempre me tardo mucho. ¿Qué es lo que estoy haciendo mal? ¿Cómo es una limpieza? Si te estás tardando mucho en una limpieza, a lo mejor no es porque seas lenta, a lo mejor es porque estás haciendo de más. A lo mejor es porque estás haciendo de más tu servicio, ¿ok? Tienes que saber cuáles son tus servicios extras y tienes que saber distinguir cuando vendas tu servicio entre una limpieza regular o una profunda. Esta semana no voy a tener descanso, chicos, pero la siguiente semana voy a tener un descanso haciendo una limpieza profunda. Posiblemente les voy a hacer un live para explicarles más a detalle cómo se hace, qué es lo que se incluye y qué es lo que no se incluye. Pero si te estás tardando mucho, puede ser por eso, porque estás haciendo de más, ¿ok? Chécale qué es lo que estás haciendo. Si estás organizando, si estás levantando cosas del piso, posiblemente eso te está deteniendo mucho. No sé cuál sea el motivo.
Vanessa, I'm going to say this jokingly, and I hope you take it in the way it's intended. Coming from another place, a big city. We came from Los Angeles originally. Yeah, it is way more difficult for you. Way more difficult. It sucks. And New York is kind of crazy. And this is going to sound crazy, but honestly, it's the best advice I can give you for New York City. Don't work in the city. You're going to want to concentrate. This is just personal advice. You're going to want to concentrate Staten, Long, get to the islands, even going up north, outside the city and stuff like that. New York is tough. It really, really is tough because first of all, getting around, you don't have a vehicle. Well, I mean, you can try to drive if you want to, but you really can't drive around. I literally have no advice for like where to go, what to do in New York because it's tough. I know it's tough. Now, if you're not in the city, you got it kind of made. Like I said, I just use golf courses as an example because even though I always say we come from LA, we were actually from Orange County. Orange County is very different than Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Orange County is kind of like what I would call the retirement area of LA. It's a very nice area. It doesn't have all the skyscrapers. It's all suburbs.
Yeah.
And so it worked out for us. But up in Los Angeles, we had actually quite a few customers up in Los Angeles. But getting in, getting out, you'd be spending 2 hours just on the commute for one customer, trying to find parking and stuff like that. It's tough. And that is a piece of advice I give. And I was like, you want to make a good nest egg for yourself and you want to make some good money. Sometimes you might, this isn't advice, just saying it's a possibility, you might want to relocate to an area where it's a little bit more feasible. Us moving from LA to Nevada.
Huge difference.
We're charging, which is funny because I think we inflated the rate here in Nevada. We charge very similar in Las Vegas to that we did to Los Angeles and Orange County. and it's probably quite a bit more than the average person did charge out here. But we were still able to fill schedules and get it done.
Yeah.
But it was a little bit scary in the beginning. But part of the move was we took our overhead costs, and I'm talking about, employees, and all of our costs in Los Angeles, and brought that to Nevada. We dropped our costs by almost 30, I think it was like 33% when I did the numbers on it. So we reduced our cost drastically, but our also needs dropped dramatically. I don't know if you know, you live in New York, so I'm not going to compare cost. But in Los Angeles, we were paying just about $5,000 a month for rent. Moving out here, we moved into a nice little place when we first moved out here for $1,100. And now, we're paying just a little bit more than that for a large, 5-bed, a much larger house. And so we chose to make the move because we thought it'd be beneficial. And Las Vegas actually wasn't our first choice. We were looking into Texas. We were looking into Colorado. We were actually looking to pick up and move the company to a place that we thought would be an advantage to us, but also be able to make some good money and lower costs.
I think one of the best advice I can give to you is pick your fights. Pick the client you wanna get. What kind of clients you want to work with? Because I work in a little apartment complex. Oh my God! I worked in Santa Monica. I work in Malibu. I work in the middle of East Los Angeles. I work in and trust me, you can waste at least 1 or 2 hours just trying to park, just trying to walk with your stuff, trying to get everything set up. Fuck it. Here in Vegas, I have only houses in the suburbs, and those are really nice. I can put my stuff out of the car in 2 minutes, and I can drink my fucking Red Bull in the other hand. So I'm not going back to that shit. So pick your fights. Pick your fights.
Carolina, I 100% know you are 100% accurate on that. And like I said, this is 100% personal preference when it comes to it. I could not imagine. I guess I could. If you're picking up houses around like Washington Park and stuff like that, I can imagine if you can keep your clients together, it wouldn't be too bad. But I currently live about 30 seconds away from my work. The farthest I've lived from my work in the last probably 15 years is about 10 minutes away. I like to be close to my work. I don't like to have to travel a lot. But yeah, if you can get a nest egg, there's so much money to be made in New York. You said any apartment building you find has, freaking up to 1,000 units. If you just picked up 2 or 3 clients in that one building, put them all on the same day, no, 100%. I just personally, and also I am a diehard Californian, and so you have to understand the animosity I have towards New York in general. I love visiting, but it's not a place I want to stay personally. And there's a lot of reasons for that. And, on the joking side, I'm a Dodger fan. I hate to make it as easy as possible on yourself.
Yeah.
And to own your own company and, do it on your own. And what's really nice is once you start building up your business, there's a lot of options out there. Because you could actually start opening locations area, they're going to basically be a profit participant. And let me tell you, you make someone a profit participant, they change things up quickly and they become someone who's trustworthy and someone you can depend on to run certain regions. So there's a lot of options out there. But how do you feel about hand-free? I don't know. Monaliba. I don't know what that is.
A Bluetooth for what? It's like a Bluetooth.
That's what I was wondering. That's what I thought of when she first said hand-free, but I'm not 100% sure.
Not sure neither.
Veronica, we're talking to you, by the way, if you're still there. We don't know what you mean by hand-free. But while we're waiting on that answer, yes, you are 100% correct, though. Best prices in New York City, no doubt. What we charge, $200 or $300 for here, it's a little bit different because we don't have like the apartments like you do in New York, not the same way, but like, the housing and stuff like that. What I can charge for like a 3,000 or 4,000 square foot house here, I could probably charge for a 900 square foot apartment in New York. It's ridiculous.
Yep. Mis uniformes, me preguntan los precios. Esos uniformes varían entre 25 30 dólares la playera, 25 30 dólares el pantalón. Sería cuestión de que lo busquen en internet.
I don't know, Veronica, if you can hear us now. We were actually asking you what you meant by hands-free. Apparently it was lagging or something. What should you ask for when to do it a bit? My biggest concentrations, and like I have a really quick response on Yelp that just breaks it down. Square footage. How many bedrooms, how many baths? And actually, no, I removed that. Square footage, single story or multi-story home, animals in the house, special needs. Those are my 4 key things that I ask for, because it's going to break down the size of the house so we can estimate the job size, how much work's going to go into it. So the girls, if it's a 3-story house versus a single-story house, makes a big difference on how much work's being involved. Obviously, knowing pets is going to be for additional cleaning and more stuff that you're going to need for cleaning, as well as it's going to be a more difficult cleaning. And I just lost my train of thought. What was the 4th one?
Airbnb and post-construction.
Well, I didn't mention that. Oh, special needs. Yeah.
Oh.
And then special needs. Those are the 4 things that I concentrate on, because we really do kind of base it on square footage. And then the one thing I'll always recommend, we can give blind quotes pretty regularly. And we'll always let them know it's a tentative quote, based upon seeing the house. But if you want to alleviate blind quotes, ask them to send you a couple photos. Ask them to send you a photo of the worst part of your house. Because you have people who are embarrassed about how filthy their house is. And then you get there and you will laugh your ass off because the house is pretty much spotless and there's just a little bit of dust in the house. And so what's embarrassing for them is not necessarily embarrassing for everybody else. But then some people will love to say, oh, the house is not that bad. I had it cleaned a month ago, this, that, whatever. And then you walk in and it looks like a hoarder lives there. So always ask for photos. Don't be afraid to ask for photos. Yeah. Like, hey, can you show me some of the worst rooms and stuff like that? Show me maybe a picture of the stove. A stove is a great gauge for how the rest of the house looks.
Even a video call. If you cannot drive there, you can always call the client and say, hey, I can make a video call and you can just show me the house. And I can see the detail by the phone. And that's it. But don't be afraid to ask proof of it. That's a big mistake, just giving a quote and don't see anything around. That's a big mistake, guys.
Average time is difficult because it's going to be based upon square footage, how big the house is, what the job is, that, whatever. Also, how many people are on the crew that you're sending, whether it's, a single person, 2 people, whatever the case may be. Generally speaking, I'd say you can pretty much schedule based upon about 3 hours. I think for the most part, on most of our crews, they're all scheduled out for 3-hour cleaning. So if the house only takes an hour and a half, I mean, she got mad at me when we first started doing this because she didn't understand the labor laws and stuff like that. But I pay them. I pay them for that time. If I block them off for 3 hours, they're paid for 3 hours. Yeah. Even if the house only takes them an hour and a half. And that's why it goes back to the same thing like when we're charging our customers. What are you paying for? Are you paying for time or are you paying for quality? They're doing great work and they work for most cleanings. The only ones that are going to do that is when houses start getting over 3,000 or 4,000 square foot. That changes things. Yeah. Because we have houses that are almost 12,000 square foot. Yeah. Brett's house, I can't remember. But those houses we end up breaking into 2 days. We'll do like upstairs and downstairs. So it varies, but I would say 3 hours, pretty average. Yeah. Okay. Oh, thank you. Thank you for clarifying. I can tell you right now, absolutely despise that. And the reason is we have a variety of products we use. Yeah. So if there is certain requirements, if certain allergies and stuff like that, let them know, because the problem is a lot of times the stuff that they have, it's crap. I think you recently did a video, didn't you? When you were showing the paste that they wanted you to use.
Oh yeah. No, Tina.
Oh, that's what it was. It was the stitch. Yeah. But yeah, they wanted them to use a specific scouring cream, right? Because they didn't want to use Ajax. Yeah. And then the stuff just disintegrated and fell apart. And it's like, there's a reason we bring our own products. And that's why you do go over those questions. What special needs do you have? Do you have any allergies and stuff that you have to take into consideration? Because they might have their own products. They might have the same exact product you do. But the difference is we use ours every day and we refill them every week and everything's new and fresh. You might come to a customer's house. They've only had their house cleaned once in the last 6 years. You're going to get a whole bunch of expired products or products that weren't properly kept. And so you run into issues. I personally don't like hands-free. I'm not saying you can't do it, and I'm not saying it's not a good idea. It's great to lower your overhead, but then again, you're also going to lower your fees as well because you're not providing the products. But I personally, I don't recommend.
And you can be conscious too, like you can have an accident with a cleaning product, and if you don't know what you're using, it will be a big issue because if you are not providing that product, you don't know what you're using there. So you don't know if you can avoid the accidents or not with the products. It's so bad. We prefer use our own products and our own equipment. So we have vacuums, we have everything. The client doesn't have anything in their houses.
Yeah, and that's the nice thing too is like, sorry, responding to Veronica. Yeah, we do, and actually at our client's house we don't do a lot of mixing at all. I mean, we do a lot of mixing in our own house. She was talking about like with your videos, understanding why you wouldn't like using their products. Yeah, we do a lot of mixing, but we also do research on that too. Like I think one of the best examples is one of the way we clean our floors. You want to make sure you're not going to have chemical reactions. And so like our floor cleaner is a mix of phenol, Bona, and water.
Bona
and water.
Pinalin.
Yeah, Pinalin or whatever you want to call it. And so we do make our own products because the nice thing is Bona is an amazing floor cleaner, especially for like wood surfaces and stuff like that. Yeah. But then the Pinalin adds a beautiful smell, but it's soft and subtle. It's not an overwhelming fragrance. So it's a nice way for someone to walk into their house and smell the cleanliness. It's really nice. And then obviously water for obvious purposes, but and Vanessa, the other Vanessa, there's two of them now, 700 square foot. I don't know what your market looks like. Like I don't know what your minimum wage is, and I don't know if you calculate your pricing similar to the way we do, but you're going to have people who are just cheap. Okay. A 700 square foot house, honestly, I think we would probably be pretty close to your pricing. I think on a 700 square footer, I would probably be at about 225, 250. So, I mean, not to say that our rates are right or wrong, just the way we charge. But we get no's all the time. I could, if I could bring up a Yelp and not, accidentally share people's information, I could show you. I get denied so many times a day. But as long as you're marketing yourself properly, you're going to get tons and tons of potential clients. You'll eventually find the right ones. But it's like we say all the time: don't devalue your work.
I have houses. I usually organic things. Because I use my vacuum in houses with dogs. Some clients doesn't like it. Do you charge more for bringing your supplies? The final price we always offer to the clients, we include the supplies. Even if they say, I have my own supplies, yeah, but this is my price.
Yeah.
We barely drop the prices $10 when they have something because we want to let them know too. We want to work with our own house, with our own things, because we know the things we have.
Right.
So,
and technically, we don't charge more. Our prices are based upon the fact that we do bring all of our own supplies.
Yeah.
And actually, in my quote, it specifically states that. Here's your quote. We provide all the supplies and equipment, and it's very straightforward.
Yeah.
And when they say that they have their own, products that they want to use,
cool.
That's great. What products? If it's an organic issue, if it's an allergen issue, we'll address that because we do this professionally.
Yeah.
We know what it's like to walk into a house that has allergens and allergy issues. And so we address that. Actually, we've got some products that we want to do reviews on pretty soon that are all basically sensitivity, organic, all that fun stuff. Basically for anybody who has health issues, we've got some products that we want to review. And give you honest feedback on them. And so we're going to be actually doing that pretty soon. We have quite a few products.
Yep.
And so we definitely want to show you some of those options as well. Going back over here, I did see another question.
I just want to move.
You're going to go eat? Is that what you said?
Yeah. No. I mean, not right now.
Oh.
We have to
yeah.
let them know. Okay, guys, I think we are going to respond the last couple questions. Because like I say, we didn't eat yet.
Hold on, I do want to answer this one because it's a good question. We get asked all the time. In regards to getting a cleaning license, there's actually no such thing as a cleaning license, a business license. It depends on where you live and what you're going to need to start a business. In California, we could operate a cleaning business as a sole proprietor. We didn't have to be an LLC. We were for safety purposes and protection purposes, but you don't need it. You can basically operate people call it under the table or cash or whatever the case may be. You can operate like that. Technically and legally, you need to do your taxes, but you didn't need it. You didn't need a business license to operate, and so it really just depends on where you're from. Now, here in Nevada, I think I've explained it a couple different times. We need a state business license. We need a county business license. We need a city business license for all 3 cities that we operate in, and we need an additional license for the county for unincorporated areas. So we have quite a few licenses here in Nevada, but in the long run, we don't pay state taxes. So I'm okay with kicking out a couple dollars for all these licenses because we don't have to pay state taxes. And which means as a business owner, I don't have to pay the state taxes for my employees, but my employees also don't have to pay state tax as well. So there's some benefits. There's always give and takes.
Okay, guys. So we're going to have to say goodbye today. I'm really tired today. I don't know if you want to stay a couple minutes.
No, I'm starving. But I did see the last question. I want to sell you out a little bit. Can I sell you out? When you talk about vinegar, I took it off from everywhere, even my house, because I used it for the smell of some houses. So, funny story, where we're getting away from the professional advice here. Don't let her fool you. She was a vinegar user too. Okay? And we went back and forth on this. And she used vinegar and I think it's a very cultural thing. Like people everywhere use vinegar for purposes. But I think for you, at least back home, it was a lot more common. She used vinegar for everything. Vinegar was her fabric softener. Vinegar was her cleaning solution. Now, granted, she didn't use it on stone and stuff like that. And the same things we pointed out a million times. But yeah, she used to love vinegar. And I fought that fight to the very end. I don't even allow white vinegar in the house anymore. If you're going to use vinegar, it can be apple cider vinegar and, cooking vinegars and stuff like that, rice wine vinegar, all those things. But it took a while. But when she started actually doing tests and really kind of playing with it, we found some of the alternatives that actually were houses that stink. It is a great way to mask those smells. But little things like having a little Febreze with you, bringing a Febreze bottle around. If you've got houses that stink and you want the house, let's see, not speaking English. Permiso, yo no hablo español. Of course, it's locked up.
Yesterday I was watching to the husband, and I have to show you things, and you have to tell me what's the name in Spanish.
Oh, like the one where they squirt them with water and something like that, they get the wrong answer?
Yeah, but you have to answer in Spanish. What's the name in Spanish of the thing?
Okay, and I'll do it to you in English.
Yeah. Yeah?
Yeah, because I just go to big words. I was like, I have a pretty damn good vocabulary. You want to play around? Yeah. Oh, you're just breaking everything now. For the first year when we first met, Xochitl could not to say words that start with S, Spaniel. And it's just being stupid.
Yeah. Casarte con un gringo. Yo me casé con